All right, we're recording. So thank you everyone for joining. I'll just do a quick intro for me. I'm Eddie McDonough. I'm a project manager on the SPPI team, Special Projects and Process Improvement. So the team they worked on this app for almost the past year or so. And so I'm kind of helping with the rollout plan. I'm training everybody here. So if you need any support going forward with EPFs or have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm here to I'll train you here. So this first half of the training, I'm just gonna go quick through, show you how to add a new EPF within this app. Answer any questions. Feel free to interrupt me if I'm going too fast or you have a certain question. And then I'm here for support after, so feel free to reach out at any point here. So I'm going to, you should be able to see my screen here. So I put the link in the chat, right? So we're all in this is EPF approval. This is kind of the home page of it. So you have your initiator dashboard. So you'll see here, right, I have some things that are just in draft status that I've created earlier. And then once you actually submit them for approval, you can you have a little dashboard down here that you can see what the status is, right? So these are from some previous demos that I did. This one is, an approval status. You can see here with the check marks where it's sitting. If it's waiting for a certain sign off, there'll be a little inbox. I'll show you what that looks like. But it's just a quick glance. You'll notice I'm hovering over these. You can click into any of them and view their status, right? So there's not much in here. This is one of my demos, but I just clicked it, right? You can see all the details in each one. So to submit a new EPF, you'll want to click this upper left plus button in the corner here. So you do that, and it opens up a blank EPF form. It defaults to, yourself, you're the initiator, can't change this, but all these other fields, right, I can click in and enter in information. Right now, nothing's actually required to enter, so it's easy for the purposes of this demo. The only thing that's actually required is this PO number. That's actually just got added as being required. So if you don't know the PO number, if it comes later or something in your process, people have been asking me. I've been told you can put in TBD until we get a PO number, or if you have it, you can enter in a number. But for this, we can just put TBD. And then for this demo, how I like to track it is, let's see, you're in group 2. So I'm just going to put that so we can follow along. Demo group 2, Eddie. For my name, right, I'll just, I'm going to fill in fake information for the purposes of this demo. It's okay if you leave some stuff blank for now, but to actually submit it, you probably want to fill out as many fields as possible. I want to highlight real quick this year expense incurred field right here. It defaults to the current year, but if you're filling something out right in January and it was actually incurred in the previous year, right, just due to the year switchover, you do have the ability to go back a year to do anything like that. So that'll automatically move forward once we get to the new year, but you have that option to go back a year if you need to. Like I said, feel free to interrupt with any questions if you want me to repeat something. Pretty straightforward for now. The app supports right now 4 funding strips. It's a new update, and then up to 5 invoices. So if you have anything more, the app doesn't support that. You have to do it the current process that you currently do. And then the app also does not support Exhibit A's, B's, or encumbrances either. So you do it the original way as well. So that's the limitations of the app, but we just added the 4 funding strips, 5 invoices, so that's good. I know they're working on adding some more, features and allowing different exhibits in the future, but right now we don't support that. For the funding sources, right, you can enter in as much as you have, and then I want to show you the amounts here at the far right. So if I put in, it pulls it down for a total. So I'll do just 2 funding sources here, right, and you'll see it added them up to total it to 3,000. You'll notice it made turned yellow, right, just a visual indicator. That just says that it's not matching the funding source total amount is not matching the invoice total amount here. So normally when you submit them, you want these to match. So just the yellow is highlighting that it's not matching yet. You have the ability to choose the invoice date received, type in the invoice number, description, right? These are all kind of optional fields, but if you need additional information here, you're not actually limited to this one line, right? It'll auto kind of expand here, and you can scroll if you need a lot more information. You don't necessarily need information. You'll notice here, you kind of see if you squint, I can't actually click into this amount box. It's actually a calculated field based off of the quantity times the unit cost. So it works well for, right, if you're like buying, right, 100 pens or something, and like each one has a set unit cost, and you could easily base that off of the invoice. I've had people talk, right, with like vendors or something, where it's like the quantity is weird, they charge weird hours or something, right? But if it's like a quantity 6, then just the total amount is like, you know, $529. It's the example I use for everyone, right? Like, you don't want to like it's be a pain to calculate that out. So the guidance I've been given for kind of an instance like that is you can type in like the quantity 6 in the description, but then actually just do 1 and then 529, because it just multiplies these two fields to get it to kind of this unique amount, right? If it was a unique amount. For the purpose of this demo, I'm just kind of doing whole round numbers, which is easy. And I'll just show you the kind of how the calculated field works, right? 2 quantity, 1,000 each, gets it to, you know, multiplies it to 2,000. You notice the yellow indicator went away, so these match, so that's good. We'll just leave it like that. Any questions real quick how this is going?
None from me.
Thanks. You know, if you want any additional details, right, it's an optional field here. You don't have to actually put anything. You have the ability, you can add, you know, all your invoice as attachments here, anything else that you need. I just have some demo invoices here. I'll just attach to show you. You can select multiples of the same. You know, it uploads them all here. There's example ones. Keep scrolling down. Here's where you'll choose kind of the approvers. So it goes in order, right? So the very first approval step is going to be program director, your manager. So you could select them here, who's ever the first level of approval for your EPF. And then you'll select the finance officer as well. For the purposes of this demo, I'm just going to pick myself so I can kind of show you all the steps. But obviously it's going to be who you'd normally choose here. Finance director, I think that position is actually vacant, so we're not doing that. But if things change, you get the option here. But right now, I don't think of finance director. These last two ones, they are grayed out. I can't select them, but that's because, you know, deputy commissioner and commissioner, it's 100,000 or anything over 250,000. That's the requirement for those. So since I'm only at 3,000, it's grayed out. But if you go over 100 or over 250, these will become available and be selectable for you to choose. And then the ship to, I've had a few questions on here. It's just optional, right? If it makes sense for your EPF, if you need to enter like shipping information or anything, or ship to, you have that option here. But for the purpose of this demo, I'm just going to leave it blank. You can leave it blank, which is fine. So now I'm at the bottom of the form. I can't scroll anymore. To save it, you want to click the floppy disk button in the upper left corner. I'm going to go ahead and click the save button. Takes a second, but then it saves it, right? So everything's kind of as I typed it in. I can't click anywhere, so it's kind of all saved and set. If you needed to go back and add something or edit something, you click the little pencil button back in the upper left again. And then everything becomes selectable and editable again. So if you wanted to, you do that and then just hit save again. Let's say at a meeting or, you know, you're done for the day and you didn't finish filling this out. You could always close, you know, the web page or anything. I just click the back button, but here's my demo group to Eddie, right? The 3,000 amount, it's just in my inbox, right? The status, it's in draft status. So I could come back to this at any point, continue editing it if needed. That's a nice feature. If you need to kind of drop it for a little bit, it's still here saved for you to come back. So I just clicked back into it and here's everything we were doing. If you're doing something where, you know, you have a similar vendor for multiple EPFs, right? This is a copy button. It'll just copy all this information to a new draft, right? If you want to keep the funding strip information or something like that, it's a convenient way just to make a quick copy of a previous EPF you worked on. The PDF, this will send a copy of the EPF as a PDF into your email. Excuse all the acronyms. So if you want to, for some reason you want to get out of here, you could easily export this into a PDF and continue it out of the app, or just for documentation purposes. It's flexible, whatever you want. Last button up here is the comment button. So I just clicked it, comments appear, just kind of like your typical social media comment box, right? So you can type in anything here. You can actually tag people and it'll send them an email. So let's just tag myself, test comment, show you what that looks like, right? But if you had a question, you want to draw somebody's attention to something, you could type it into here, right? Or being like, what's the PO number, or what's the vendor address, or something like that, right? You could tag somebody, and I'll actually send them an email and link them straight to this form that you're working on. Click submit, see, it submits it here, and then whoever you tag, you can tag multiple people. Whoever you tag will get an email, and they can link to here and add comments here, continue the conversation somewhere else as well. Just another handy feature. Let's say this all looks good, we're happy with it, and you're ready to submit for approval. Once you hit that save button. Sorry,
no, I have a question right quick.
Yep.
That email box that you had there, which is kind of convenient, but if they reply, does the reply come, where does it come? To my emails, or will it come to here?
Yeah, so let's see if sometimes it's a little, so like you should see my email now.
Mm-hmm.
And so whoever you tag, it'll be like you've been tagged in a comment on this EPF.
Okay.
So they'll have to, it's like an automatic email, so they have to click this link that's in their email, and it takes them to the app, and then they can, so I just click the link, right? It's going to take them right to the comment box, so they can re-comment in here.
All right. So their reply then would show up here.
Yep, as long as they type it in here and hit submit. Yep.
Right. Gotcha. All right.
No, good question. Thanks. Yep. Then once you're ready to submit it, you'll notice there's a submit for approval button at the top here. If everything looks good, I can click that. So for purpose of this demo, I'm just going to hit approve, and I marked myself as the manager and finance officer approver. So that's kind of the end of your EPF. If you're just submitting an EPF, that's all you'll have to do. But just for this demo, while I got you here, I'll show you real quick what it's going to look like, right, for your manager, and then what it'll look like for you moving along. So it doesn't auto refresh, so I just went ahead and clicked the refresh button up here. You could also, refresh your whole browser. And when I did that, it jumped from my draft status, here's this group 2, to this pending program approval, the in process. So you'll see kind of this little inbox in the program level. So, it's kind of waiting for that first level approval, excuse me. I just clicked into it, and if you scroll down, right, you can see, right, status pending with who it is, just so you can kind of see the status of it. I'm going to tab over back to my email. So this is like what your manager, that first person you put as the approver, they're going to get an automated email being, there's not too much information here, but it'd just be whoever created it, which is me, the name of the vendor, which, this is what I'm tracking with, and then the total amount. And the manager will have to click this link in the email. And so in the Power Automate flow, you don't have to worry too much about it, but this is what the manager will see. They can click this link here. It'll review the EPF for them. They can look in the information. They'll have access to the comment box, right? So if they wanted to ask any questions here, right, everything, it takes a second, but it'll load up. I'll just go back, and then they can just approve or reject. This will be what kind of the manager level will do. And they could also add a comment. So they can't really edit anything at this point, but they just approve or reject it. The purpose of this demo, I'll just approve it just to show you the positive flows, but they can send it back and you can resubmit it for approval, kind of the same way I just showed you, if it gets rejected for any reason. It's all loaded up, so this is what the manager will see, right? But they can't edit it from that link. For this, I'm going to hit approve and confirm. This is what your manager will do. And that's all that the manager level will do. And then, let's say you come back in here and I just hit refresh, or right, if you check the next day or something, now you'll see it says submitted to finance officer, change the status. And if I just click in here, you'll notice the little inboxes moved over one slot. Now you'll see, right, there's a time step when it was approved. If there were any comments, they would load up here. And now I see there's waiting finance officer approval. Back to my email real quick. This is what the finance officer will see. Pending finance officer review. Then they can click the link to review the EPF. Or as a finance officer, they can see it in their kind of inbox as a finance officer. Since I'm wearing both hats, I'll have this, but if you're just submitting EPFs, this won't apply to you. But here's the link for the finance officer, kind of the same thing. It's loading up. You'll see I'm waiting for like the total to appear. That's how I know it'll load. You can see the dots kind of going across here. Microsoft's been a little slow lately, for this week. Everything's loaded up. So the finance officer, they have the ability, they could comment, right, if there's any questions. The finance officer can come in here and actually add or edit information themselves, which is a nice feature. And then, they're to edit and then save. And then the finance officer has to submit for approval, or they can return it, right? If there's something, they needed to fix from your end, they could return it to you as well. So for this, I'm just going to hit submit for approval again. Second, I'm going to hit the refresh button. And that should flip to an approved status. Load. Probably clicking a little too fast. App is hanging up on me, but I did get the approval email saying it was approved. Received all approvals. This is the finance officer will see this. Once it's approved, finance officer will have to assign it to a clerk. So now, as the finance officer, they click that link and they're able to assign it as a clerk. They have to go in here and click the edit button. And then they just they assign it to the clerk. And I want to show you this just because then it'll auto-generate a PDF kind of with the payment voucher number. It's going really slow, which is unfortunate. I was just going to assign myself as the clerk, but it's not loading. Give it one more minute. If not, I can call this for now. But I can show you guys what it looks like from my previous demo I did earlier today, which I promise you worked. But then once it's assigned to a clerk, this is kind of the automatic email, and you should be copied on this as well, but it includes all of the invoices attached, right? Here's my demo invoices, and then, right, it's going to copy the clerk, or send to the clerk, and then copy everybody there. And you'll see that in your inbox as well. I just want to show you real quick. This is kind of the EPF that's generated. Here's my demo, and then it auto-populates this payment voucher number, which is nice, and it automatically sends it to the clerk for processing.
So is that email a document, or is it just electronic document?
It's a PDF. Yeah.
It is PDF. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's finally loaded. We're back to the app. So I'm just going to, so you sign it to the clerk, you have the ability, they can mark it as urgent or not. Kind of a feature. And so I'm going to, as the finance officer, I'll send it to the clerk. Then we just got kicked out here, and you notice this says sent to clerk now. So like, this is what you'll see. As the initiator, you can see sent to clerk. So you can kind of follow along and see. You can click into, if you have multiple EPFs, and you can check their status within the app, which is nice. And then kind of future state. This is, I still need to train the clerks. So we're going to do that kind of soon here. But after that, still waiting on a final word from that. But the clerks, the idea is going to have the clerks go, so we're jumping into a clerk dashboard, and they'll be able to mark the EPFs further as submitted to FMPS, and then they can mark them as paid once the EPFs are actually paid. And the clerks can actually go in here, and the plan is going to be have them, they'll be able to select a paid amount or paid date, and then how much, what was paid actually. And then you'll be able to see that, and we'll kind of close the loop. So that's kind of a future state, but I just wanted to show you all kind of what we're working towards here and what it's going to look like for the clerks as well. Going slow, that might not work. But yeah, so it'll change, right, to submitted to FNPS, and then it could change to paid, so it'll follow your EPF. So that is the current full life cycle. And then here's our final email, kind of the same thing I was just showing you, but right with the attached PDFs. So any questions for this life cycle or thoughts? And then I guess I forgot to mention, the plan is the app is live. You can start using it now. And the plan is we're allowing submissions of EPFs kind of the original way or through the app for kind of the rest of the month through June. And then starting early July, we're going to transition to only allowing EPF submitted through the app. With the exceptions of Exhibit A's, B's, and encumbrances, because those are not supported as of this time.
Okay, well, I mean, it's interesting, and I can imagine. I mean, most of us, all of us, pretty much have came up with the old EPF system. So this is, this is. I mean, even though we did EPFs, we did them on the computer, so it's not. Right. But this one here, I guess. So we'll store these. We'll create a file here somewhere, and whatever. I mean, like, okay, right now, Maribel has me working on the workforce development project program. So I guess I would develop a file there, and EPS can be stored there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. While we have 5 minutes, if you guys have the time, you're welcome to hop off now. But I'd like to just have everyone real quick, just do an example submission to make sure the app kind of works for you. So if you can click that link, the EPF link in the chat, if you still have it open, that works too. And then hit just kind of the quick plus button in the upper left. And then just like you're going to assign everything to me, but for vendor name, put like demo your name, right? So for Andre, you put like demo Andre, just so I can track it. And then you have to put something for PO number now. So just put TBD or, 123, whatever. So everybody do this. And then once you submit it, you can hop off. And then scroll all the way almost to the bottom to approval details and just assign it to me, Edwin McDonough, for both program and finance. Once you do that, hit the save button. And then once you save it, hit the submit for approval. As long as that works for you and you can figure it out, then you're welcome to hop off. Double checking the app will work for everyone, which I think it should, but like I said, if you need any help or questions, feel free to reach out once you're actually doing an EPF in here too.
You said put the program director under you and the finance officer under you?
Correct. Yeah, you just have to fill those out. So that'll send it to me.
What if I have?
I
put some other fields in there earlier. Does that matter?
No, it's all optional. This is like a practice one basically.
All right.
So yeah, you can put any of them. It's fine. I'm gonna delete these later.
It's Claudia. Did you see mine?
Let me see. Yep. Got yours, Claudia. Thank you.
So just click submit right after I put in the finance officer and the program director.
Yep. So do that and then save, and then you'll click the submit button up there.
Oh, save and then click submit, right? Okay.
Yeah, you have to save first. Yeah.
Okay. I just did it. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you all. Feel free to hop off once you do it. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good one, guys. Feel free to reach out to me.
Okay. Let me make sure I'm doing it. So you say you put the program director under you and the finance officer under you, and then so to get it to you again, I would do what? Okay, after I've done that.
So you want to click the floppy disk save button maybe,
Oh yeah, gotcha.
and then you should see submit for approval.
Got it. Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Okay. Very
All right.
good. Okay.
Thanks,
Well,
Andre.
hey,
Appreciate it.
you're welcome, man. Thank you.
Yep. Have
Talk
a
to you
good one.
later.
Sounds good.